But now let's go ahead and get into our third game in this series, Doraemon 3, with our runner, Kefka 14. Go ahead and take it away. We did a little swip swap. It's great.
All right, so hello everybody. Apologies that I'm kind of like facing this direction. My TV's there. It is what it is. But hello, I'm Kefka 14. I've been moderating the Doraemon 64 community for a few years. Really great to finally get these games on. Something Games Done Quick related. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and to get the whole trilogy on here with some of my closest friends, it's just an amazing feeling. I'm also joined on commentary today with 7th Armstrong, who's just running Doraemon 2. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello.
So, yeah, we're going to be doing Doraemon 3. It's a much different game than the other two. It's the shortest of the three, and we like to call it Doraemon Hero. For those of you familiar with Bomberman Hero, you'll understand why pretty quickly.
Very true.
Yeah,
I'm looking
go ahead
forward
and
to
jump right
getting
in.
this game myself.
It's a fascinating one. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it, though, in 3, 2, 1. Say again. Okay. And let's get going in 3, 2, 1, go. So, right out of the gate, we have things to worry about in this run. There's this weird thing that happens where if you press start to skip a cutscene, and you press it too early, if you go fast, the game can just do this weird thing where we're no longer able to skip the cutscene. I don't really know why it does that, but it does. So, yeah, that's fun. So, starting off immediately, we're playing as Nobi, and we are in Nobi's town, hence the name of the game. You're seeing the Japanese name of the game on screen, which is Nobita no Machi SOS, which translates to Nobi's Town SOS. Basically, the plot of the game is Nobi's hometown here has been transported to another dimension, and all of the various denizens are trapped in some kind of intergalactic goo type of stuff. And, yeah. Fun stuff, fun times.
I also just
We're doing
love
the
the way the
prologue.
characters run in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty goofy looking. So right here at the beginning of the game, you'll notice it automatically switched us to Doraemon, but we switched back to Nobi, and we equipped the good old gun, which is a fun thing that exists in this series.
Doraemon classic gun.
Yeah, just gun. But the first thing we got to do here is we just got to talk to a couple of these little pixie butterfly type things, which once we talk to them, we can leave the town and start the game proper. Now, this game, like I said, is a lot different than the others. It has a level select screen. And we're going to start off by going to the first level here. And the goal of the first world here is basically to gather 4 different crystals so that we can unlock the boss area. You'll notice I picked up a green sort of object just now and a red object. The red object was health. It was a heart. That wasn't obvious. But the green objects that look kind of like cans of bug spray, we just call them sprays. And a large part of this game is based upon just gathering all these sprays. Now, what they do will be more apparent later.
To complete the game.
You need a lot of sprays. A lot of them. We'll be getting more into what they do later. You do start the game, though, with the Anywhere door already in your inventory, which is a lovely feature. Now, level 2 here, you'll notice, hey, the game got a lot darker. Hey, Kefka, I can't see. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's an item that brightens this area. It makes it to where you actually can see. I just have the brightness turned up on my TV. It takes time to use the item and stuff, so it's just dark. In the meantime, I'll describe what I'm doing in dramatic fashion. Right now, I'm doing some Ace and some SRM, and I just nailed a frame-perfect, double pixel-perfect jump right there. It was wonderful. You are missing every bit of it. Yeah, it's lovely.
But yeah,
so you'll notice the text boxes.
You would have to collect like extra sprays to get the item to make the place light up. But since we're going fast, don't need it.
Yeah. So you'll notice that with text boxes, I'm not able to just mash through them. Text boxes in this game have a really awkward sort of rhythm to them, almost like a heartbeat, like do-do, do-do, in order to dismiss them quickly. It's very strange. So you'll notice that sometimes I'm just defeating enemies and they're dropping items. So far, we've gotten perfect RNG in this run. I'm sure that won't last, but we'll see. Yeah, everybody's been dropping sprays, which is lovely. So coming to the third level here, this is one of the very few levels that we're going to be revisiting way later in the run. There's not a whole lot of backtracking in this run, unlike Doraemon 2, and even 1 has quite a bit more backtracking than this game. But we're going to be doing some actual movement tech here. You'll notice there I just jumped up a slope and slid up it. There's some pretty weird momentum quirks in this game that you can abuse to do some interesting sort of stuff. We're going to do another slope boost here, like that. Slide right on up. And we're going to be doing a third one here to go fight a mini-boss. See if I get it. I did. Nice. And we're going to run up here, and we're going to fight this mini-boss.
Slope boosts are always so funny looking.
Also, the music in this game is fantastic, for those of you who have never played this game. It just sounds really lovely.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So going on to the fourth level of World 1, and we're getting close to the end of World 1. This is one of 2 water levels in the game. We love those, right? So we're going to jump into the water here, and we're actually going to switch to Doraemon. Doraemon is one of the 2 fastest swimmers in the game, and it saves us a little bit of time to go ahead and switch to Doraemon. And then we're going to use our first sprays. Now, you'll notice I scrolled to a sort of a blue inventory slot there. Basically, you start this game already having all of Doraemon's secret gadgets. And in order to use them, you have to sort of cleanse the interdimensional goop off of them with the sprays, is kind of how the mechanic works, canonically speaking, which is very strange, but sure. You'll notice here there's 4 sprays in the water. We'll be grabbing those. A huge part of this route is just getting good spray drop RNG and gathering as many of them as you can that are in your path. And this is actually part of our route as well. We'll come back out of this door here, and we're going to grab these 4 sprays again because they respawn. And then we're going to leave the level, but come back in. It's actually faster to just warp out of the level and then come right back in than it is to swim back up out of the sort of tunnel that we swam down into. Coming up here is a fun little boost strat found by a runner named BDL Crusher. We just go boop, like that. Saves like half a second or something. It's fun. Then we're going to come in here and we're going to redeem my favorite item in video games. Those of you who are somewhat familiar with me, this item is my profile picture as well. Made by 7th Armstrong, in fact, as well. Also, I noticed a Nanyai in the chat. Shout outs to Nanyai. Nanyai is sort of our community champion, so to speak.
Sure. Nanyai holds the world record in multiple categories, multiple Doraemon games.
So coming into the boss level here, the boss level is pretty fun. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do that jump. Oh, I made it, thank God. This is muscle memory.
Oh.
Yeah, that saves like 0.2 seconds.
Well done, well done.
Yeah, I shouldn't have even went for it. Oh, well. Yeah, this level's quite short. We're going to see if we can catch this cycle here, hit the switch, and then we're going to be fighting the first boss, which is definitely the easiest boss in the game. Almost an auto-scroller, even, if I'm being real. Wow, we have gotten perfect RNG so far. So here is the first boss.
Yeah, just as a reminder. Oh, it's good.
Oh, no, go ahead. You're good.
I was gonna say, just as a reminder, like all these spray drops from all these enemies, that's not guaranteed. So if you don't get these sprays, you gotta route in more sprays to finish the game to unlock the items you need. So it's very important for going fast getting these drops.
Oh, I got smacked. That's all right. We're not going to be playing as Doraemon anymore in this run after this boss. So, yeah, and we're going to look away from the explosion that the boss does because it saves time because the game lags really badly. And, you know, cool people don't look at explosions anyway. So we're just going to stare in the opposite direction.
Oh, I should be clear. The spray drop is not like a rare thing, but
it's like a 50-50 chance.
I guess that's, yeah, close to coin flip. Yeah.
So the fact that we've gotten all sprays so far, still pretty impressive in a weird way. So now we have unlocked Sue, and we're going to be playing as Sue for hopefully the entire run. We'll see what happens. Another spray drop, wow. Sue has the fastest ground movement speed in the game next to Sneech, who has the same movement speed. So here we have redeemed and used the first
unlike in Doraemon 2, all the characters have different like jump, swim, run abilities. So very important to choose the right character for the right situation.
Weird movement there, that's alright. If these guys are in the path, I'll usually get them. They're kind of RNG as to what position they'll have, and they were directly in the path, so I figured I'd just go ahead and get them. We get a spray drop, and we did. Since we're doing so good on sprays, I'm actually going to forego farming those two. We're going to head on in here. Now, the object of World 2 is to destroy a couple computers, 3 in total, to dispel a barrier that's around the boss level of this world. But before we leave this level, and then I get 2 hearts, of course. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it was perfect for a while.
Some safety health. Not the worst thing in the world. What we do in this level is, before we leave, we go and we farm quite a bit of sprays that are just floating around here. There we go. 27. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape. So now we're going to the, obligatory volcano stage. You'll notice a meter on the top right corner of my screen. That's sort of like a heat meter. If it runs down to the end, we'll basically have a heat stroke. There's no threat of that at all, because we're going to be going so fast it won't matter. There is an item you can use that just gets rid of it entirely, but yeah. So we also have a fan weapon here, and this is the only thing it's used for. That's it. We are now done with the fan weapon. Just use it to fan those flames, and oh wow, I've never done that before. So normally the game expects you to wait for these lava plumes to stop firing, but we can simply jump over them in most cases, which is really nice. Like this, like we just jump right over. Coming up through here, we're going to be talking to a particular character that we'll be seeing quite a bit of later in the game. Well, compared to other things. The game is quite short. I don't really know what this character's name actually is. I've always called him the Engineer. So, we'll just stick with that.
Good enough.
Alright. So we're going to go ahead and re-equip the grenade here. This is a really good time to do that, because we have to wait on this particular one. That particular lava chute is on a slope. We can't jump over it. And we would, even if we could jump over it, we would have to wait for this one anyway, because if we run into this one, it'll shoot us off the edge, and we'll lose a ton of time. But the goal here is to just make that platform cycle there, which is pretty easy to make. It can definitely go wrong, so I was waiting until after to say it was easy, just to be safe. And we're going to redeem the jackhammer. Drill a little hole in the wall there. Come in here, we're going to kill that guy, do that, and of course it was a heart drop. Why wouldn't it be? Now we're going to the most important level in the run. We have different names for this in the community. I personally call it the Toy Factory. This is going to be where we're going to get most of our sprays in the run. We're going to do a tiny bit of farming here. Nothing too egregious. And 100%, we'd be spending like 7 minutes here. Just collecting the same group of objects over and over. But luckily, in any percent, that's not really a problem. The first thing we need to do, though, is we need to revive a computer. For some reason, a first aid kit works for that. Don't really know why, but we won't argue with it. We're going to jump on this little conveyor belt here, work our way back over. We're going to grab these 2 sprays again, then we're going to come down here and grab those 3 sprays. Now, you'll notice we just got 5 sprays in a row. I love the
farming in this zone.
Oh, it's wonderful. This farming round is excellent, actually. Cool. Then we're going to come in here. We're going to destroy the computer in this level. Boom. Grab the single spray up there. Come back out, and I'm actually going to take a safety check on my count. 33. We need to leave this level with 45. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab 1, 2. And we're going to die on purpose, which respawns all the sprays. We are currently at 38. 39, 40. 41, 42, 43. And then we're just going to grab these last two on this spring. Like so. And we're going to get out of here. And we're good to go on sprays for the rest of the game now, which is great. I need quiet time for just a second. Of course I missed. Quiet time's not over yet. I missed a second time. There it is. Yeah. Okay. So what I just did there, it's not really that hard of a skip. It's one of those things that either you get it first try or it just goes wrong over and over. Feels like one of those kinds of things. Normally you have to go in a bunch of different directions there to activate a bunch of different directions that you can go in, essentially, to open a door, but you can just skip all of it by throwing a grenade over that gap to hit the switch. So here we're going to use the good old clouds in a can. They make their triumphant return. We're going to try to get a pretty tricky little grenade throw here. I think I got it first try. I did. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. It hits a switch down below. The angle for it's kind of awkward. Then we're going to go to the second boss of the game that we have dubbed as a community the Gundam. But I am going to go ahead and take a couple safety heals. And we're going to switch to the weapon we need to fight the Gundam with, which is the good old gun. And then we're going to go fight the Gundam. And this boss used to be one of the hardest bosses of the game, with a ton of RNG and nonsense you had to deal with. And a couple years ago, maybe about a year ago, I did a smaller marathon, and the staff just vanished after my run was over, and I just stayed on stream for like 40 extra minutes, and I was like, well, I need to entertain chat somehow. So I just went through the game, and we just strat hunted with chat, and we found this strat.
Sounds like a great time.
Oh, it kind of was, honestly. It was me and another Doraemon 3 runner. We just chilled, and we found a quick kill, and we made the most inconsistent mess of a boss in the game 100% consistent, which is, pretty cool. And that's Gundam. We will be fighting Gundam a second time later. It's the only boss you have to fight a second time. And it's a slightly harder version. By slightly harder, I mean identical, but moves faster, which doesn't really matter to us. So now we're going to World 3. This is where the game starts to get a little more confusing, especially for somebody that, can't read Japanese. The game gets quite confusing to play through, especially since there's not really any good guides on the internet, with the exception of my any percent tutorial and some community resources. Just to be honest, there's no really good guides for it on game FAQs or anything like that. But you'll notice here we've actually entered a town with NPCs, so we do have to talk to a few random characters. So first there was the engineer that we met in the volcano from earlier. Then we're going to come in here, and we're going to use the Go Anywhere badge, or ID, or whatever it's called. Something of that ilk. And this lets us talk to a character that I like to call the mayor. Some people in the community call this the kid. I've always called him the mayor, because they kind of seem like a mayor to me, but not really sure. Anyway, we use this antenna object, and he explains that he was looking for a few crystals, and we need to bring them to him, so naturally we're going to go fetch those. Our first one is in this level here, level 3-1. This level's a kind of an interesting stage. It's one of the only other levels we actually visit twice, both times very briefly. Our first visit here, we're just coming in to grab that aforementioned crystal. And all we're going to do is we're going to run down here. We're going to come to this little point and hopefully not land in the acid, and we didn't. That's great. We're going to grab this gem, and that's that. That's our first visit to the level. Short, sweet. Then we go to level 3-2, which is sort of like a jungle-themed kind of level. Also very short. World 3 is very weird. Like I said, it doesn't... It's very different compared to the rest of the game. There's a lot of, like, back and forth here compared to the other areas in the game. So here we talk to this girl, skip a couple cutscenes, Skip through just a few text boxes. And back out the door we go. And then we're going to go to the end of the level and get the crystal. Hopefully we get good RG on these enemies. Let's find out.
Little fetch quests in this section.
There we go. So we're going to walk up this beanstalk. A lot easier than the beanstalk in Doraemon 2. If we get a good position on these bugs. Nope. Very rare to get good positioning on those bugs. Their positioning is random. They're usually right in the way. And they were this time as well. I didn't expect it to not be. So here we actually head back to the city that's in the second world to get our final crystal, which is in this house right here. Talk to this girl here, and she gives us our third one. Then we're going to go back to the city in World 3, and we're going to deliver the crystals to the mayor. Fun little strategy there that I found, where you don't actually have to turn the camera. You can sort of walk in a less than optimal line in order to make the camera pan itself, which saves a little bit of time over stopping to pan the camera naturally.
Huh.
So, that's one of the few times where you get an item and there's no sort of noise or indicator that lets you know that you've gotten an item. It's actually the only time in the game like that. So we're making our revisit to this level. We're going to do a damage boost there. One of the few times we do that in the run. We're going to take this teleporter and we're going to jump off the top of this. There's no fall damage in this game, by the way, so no worries there. We're going to use the item that the mayor gave us. And it's going to make this giant thing appear. We want to collect this giant thing. What we're going to do is we're going to use the shrink ray on it. And we're going to make it tiny. And then we're going to collect it. Fun stuff. Fun train of logic right there.
It's too big.
Then we get to go to the final water level. There is one very brief moment later where we have to deal with some water, but it's not like a whole water stage. Now, you'll notice that we're just staying Sue for the rest of the game so far, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll just be Sue till the end of the game. Sue has the fastest ground movement and the fastest swim speed. So, in an ideal world, we'll just simply
really overpowered.
Yeah, in an ideal world, we'll just simply be able to be Sue for the rest of the run. Oh, there we go. We're gonna come in here.
Similar to Doraemon 2, where it's like you can just kind of get like a really hot time from not taking damage. But in this case, you need to not take damage on Sue specifically.
Yes. I did heal twice earlier, though. So in this level, much like the first water level, it's quicker to just simply warp out and then come back in than it is to swim back up. You'll notice we're using an item there. I call that the submarine cream, because it's like looks like a can of like Pond's cold cream or something, and it says submarine on it. What it does is it just allows you to dive deeper underwater. And we're going to swim to this little pedestal here. We're going to use that big talisman thing that we shrunk earlier. Like so. And then we're going to the boss level of World 3. Now, this boss level is pretty fun, actually. I really like the level. We'll see what happens here. The boss itself has a really tricky quick kill that hopefully I get. We'll find out. Some cool platforming in this next room here, though. Nice, nice. Nice. Bam, bam. Lovely. Yeah, so that went well. Little light puzzle there. You just have to hit them in the correct order. And we're going to grab these 3 sprays that are more or less directly in our path. $33. I need 2 more. 1 more. Okay, cool. Keeping up with my spray count. And there we go. Now we're on to the third boss, which is a big monkey that sings at you. When you beat this particular boss, it unlocks the ability to play as Big G. But we're not going to be seeing Big G, unfortunately. Big G is very slow in this game. Now, this boss has something rather unique about it in that this boss can heal itself. And if we get the quick kill, it will only manage to heal itself that single time right there, which is unavoidable. Hopefully, that is the only time this boss manages to heal itself. I don't believe we're going to get it. In order to get it, you pretty much need this boss to just blink the entire fight. Oh, wow, I did get it. Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't expect
Let's
to.
go.
Yeah, I didn't expect to, but sure.
Yeah, it's very hard to do.
Yeah, we take those. And now we're going on to the final world of the game, World 4. World 4 is pretty interesting. There's some cool stuff in it. In particular, there's you're going to get to see a pretty interesting skip in the 3rd level that we go to. Huge group of text boxes there. And here we are in the 1st level of World 4. Now, unfortunately, this level has a bit of a gimmick in it that is similar to a gimmick early in the run where everything got really dark and you couldn't see. The really unfortunate part is, in this level, there actually is really cool stuff going on in the dark that you can't see, where we're doing some pretty tight platforming to hit some platform cycles. It's unfortunate. So, yeah. I apologize for that. That's the only unfortunate thing about this run, is these particular rooms here, you just can't really see anything. And we did get the cycle skip, which is good.
Oh, very nice.
Oh. The good news, though, is it's really short. We're already done. We're already moving on to the 2nd level of the area. Now, the object of World 4 is to collect 2 mirror shards. We already have one of them. The second one is here. This level's got some pretty interesting stuff in it. Very interesting mechanic. It's kind of an ice level, obviously. And the level sort of has 2 states, a semi-frozen state and a more frozen state. And we need to make the level go back and forth between its 2 states. First, we get to use an item that I like to call the Party Popper, which takes it to its semi-frozen state. Then we're going to go up these stairs. And we're going to go through this door and hit a switch. Like so. And then we're going to go refreeze the level. And what that switch does is it makes a platform move that we need to move in order to collect that mirror shard I mentioned. We're going to use the fan here to refreeze the level. Then hopefully I can hit this cycle. We'll find out. Not the easiest thing, not the hardest thing either. We should be good. As long as you get on that slope, you're in pretty good shape. And there's a couple sprays right in your path. And we made the cycle, so we're good to go.
Very,
very nice.
hopefully.
All right. So there's only 2 levels left, but there's quite a bit of, not quite a bit, but there's a little bit of wrap up we need to do. First, though, we're going to do a skip that we call slope jumping. So normally you have to do a whole series of things to make an elevator to get up here. But you can sort of activate a weapon as you're jumping onto a slope to cancel the sliding animation, which is what you saw there, which saves about a minute, honestly. Pretty cool little skip. And the object of this level is...
I didn't realize that was a whole minute.
Yeah, it might not be that much. I might be exaggerating a little, but not very much. So this level here, we're warping in and out of, like, sort of mirror zone things. We have one of the last little water sections here, and we actually have to use a water weapon. There's a couple weapons that you specifically can only use in water, and I shot something off screen there. I promise, it was there. Sort of like a little barrier thing you have to destroy. Then we're going to come over here, and we're going to destroy this barrier, and we're going to do it with the good old grenade, of course. Boom. And then we get to go fight the boss of this level. Now, it's worth mentioning, World 4 is a bit unique because it has two boss levels. This is the first one of the 2, obviously. And who might this boss be, you ask? What sort of boss are we going to get here? It's none other than Doraemon himself, which is pretty interesting. And for some reason, he gets a Robotnik car. Or Eggman, or whatever you want to call it. This
It's such a funny looking boss. I love
It really is. This fight has 4 phases. Phase 1 is what you just saw there. Phase 2 is underwater, which is really cringe, but we'll deal with it. So you just swim after him and we'll pew at him till he teleports away. Really good phase 2 actually. Then phase 3 is pretty much phase 1 again, except for there's magma. We're gonna switch back to our grenade and bombs away. Doraemon hero, folks. Doraemon hero. And then phase 4, which is the same as phase 1, except for he's gonna drop more enemies on the in-between little chunks there. Oh, I missed. There it is. All right, we're good. And then let's take 1 safety heal. Cool. All right, so now we are officially in the true end game, I like to call it. We need to go to the final level. Unfortunately, the final level is in space. And, well, we can't get to space. We need a ship. Well, a cutscene that I just skipped, a ship landed back in the 3rd level of World 1. You remember way back before I mentioned that this is one of the few levels we revisit, and this is why. It's cool to get to revisit it, though, as a faster character, because we can take these slope jumps and stuff a lot more tight and riskier due to the faster movement, which is fun. Yeah, like, look at that. Like, I had no business making it up that jump whatsoever. Like so. And, oh, that can happen sometimes. No big deal. Oh, it happened twice. That's fun. There it is. Okay. So this unlocks our 6th character. Yes, there is a 6th character you can play as in this game named Dorami. Sort of a girl version of Doraemon, if you will. Hopefully we won't be seeing her. If we do, it will mean that both Sue and Sneetch have died. And I don't think Sue is even going to die in this run, if I'm being honest. We come here, we get a floppy disk from this guy. And we got to go to this city. And we got to take the floppy disk we just got to the engineer, who explains to us that he can make a weapon for us. At least that's what we think he's saying. We're not sure. I've been meaning to ask Ananya about that. But speaking of. And this is the part when I was first playing through this game casually. This part here made me get stuck for a really long time. But in order to proceed from that point forward, you have to run all the way down here and talk to this random citizen. That's it. The game just won't proceed if you don't do that. And given that there's like little to no resources for this game online, it took me a really long time to figure out that I needed to do that. Coming into this sort of village here, I like to call it Alligator Village because all the NPCs in it are... Oh, I went to the wrong menu. That's fun. All the NPCs in it are alligators. We have to use a few items so that we blend in with the alligators and can talk to them. And we're going to go sing to the alligator chief, who's going to give us a big sort of gemstone thing. I don't know why I did that. I was talking about what I had to do there. That's why I did that. There we go. And this is our last item we will be using in the run. So no more sprays needed. We're all good to go. He gives us the big old gem. And then we go back to the city. And this is our last stop before we go to the final level of the game. All we got to do is take that gem to the engineer. And he's going to give us a big old gun. A big cannon that we need to actually beat the game. Just like so. Alright, so on to the final level, the space level. Level's really cool. The music in it's really awesome, actually. Got 2 bosses. One of them is the refight with the Gundam. The other one is the final boss. But there is kind of a true final boss right after that's really short and sort of uneventful, but it does exist. So the music here's phenomenal. Lovely. And there's a really big skip we're going to be doing in the next room here. It saves quite a bit of time. Hopefully we don't mess it up. We'll see. It's not hard necessarily, but it can definitely go wrong. You have to run up this spiral and all the way to the top, down a big pathway, and then down another spiral. Or you can just go whee and just jump straight over to the bottom of the other spiral and skip all of it. Yeah, it's a fun skip.
Amazing.
So before I go into this room here, we need to bring back out the gun, the good old revolver, and Gundam 2. So Gundam 2 is just like Gundam 1, which personally I'm a fan of, if I'm being real. Definitely trivializes a little bit of the problem with this boss in particular. This boss is a bit of an RNG fest, or at least it used to be. Luckily, Gundam 2 is identical to Gundam 1, other than it has slightly more health and moves a little faster, shoots a few more bullets, that whole sort of thing, but the same strategy applies, which is wonderful. You'll notice that when the Gundam is shooting, the game just slogs out and lags. That's pretty typical.
Yeah.
The game's very laggy. And now we are officially going to the final boss. So the final boss of this game is one of the few things in the game we don't really have much of a strategy for. We kind of have a strategy for it, but it's mostly just skill-based. It is kind of the way it works. Although the real final boss, those of you who know me and those in the Doraemon 3 community that are in chat, for me, is this switch coming up here at the end. I've been 1 for 1 the past like 3 runs I've done. I just shoot the switch once,
Yeah.
and I'm good to go. I already know this isn't going to go well. That's how it works.
Believe.
Yep.
Believe.
There it is. That second one got it. That's still better than I've seen some of my runs have,
Yeah.
honestly. So I did make a little boo-boo there. I was so excited about hitting the switch, I forgot to equip the big old cannon that we got. No big deal, though. Oh, he iframed it. So we're officially in improv land at this point.
Good luck.
Oh, I'll be all right. You'll notice there he's shooting this big red beam thing at me. It shrinks you, and when you're shrunk, you can't shoot your weapon, which, you know, stinks. Once that barrier is gone, though, we can switch away from the big cannon and start going with grenade, which is a lot more effective. Fun fact about this boss, if you manage to defeat the boss when he's doing the shrink ray and you're shrunk, the game soft locks and you just can't finish the game. So that's fun. My health is getting quite low. You know what? No. We want Sue to survive to the end, don't we?
Yes, please.
We'll use that last heart. That's what it's there for. So for some reason the boss turns into a big blob of jelly, as you just saw, and... Okay, cool. So that's the final boss, sort of. There is a true final boss coming up after this that we have to fight, and we're done with Doraemon 3. So the true final boss, now that the town is turned back to normal, is inside Nobi's desk, which those of you who are familiar with Doraemon lore in general will know that Doraemon's desk is sort of a portal kind of thing. Or rather, like a...
Yeah, portal to a different time, like
Yes.
into the future.
The true final boss we call Helmet, because it's just a helmet. What is Helmet doing? What has happened?
What is going on?
I've never seen whatever happened there. That was really weird. It was a good thing.
Yeah.
But I've never seen whatever that was. Helmet just got stuck on a wall or something. It was really weird. Okay.
Clip it, review it.
All right, so the final phase of the boss turns into a big pile of goo. And time is going to happen when the screen fades to black after this thing explodes. And time. And that's Doraemon 3.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
GG. Well played.
Thank you. What was the final time on that?
38:49.
Yeah, that's solid. That's fine. Cool. Yeah. So
And Sue made it to the end?
yeah, and Sue
Let's go.
made it to the end. To actually answer a question in chat, soft lock means that the game cannot be completed. The game is it's broken at that point.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
To give a bit of a plug, the Doraemon 64 community, we're a pretty small community, but we're very welcoming, we're very loving, as is the theme of Doraemon in general. We have a really good time routing all 3 of the games. There's tons of cool strategies, some of which you haven't seen today, some of which you have. There's multiple categories for all the games, naturally. I can't recommend checking us out enough, honestly. Like, we're just a good group of people as a whole, and I'd like to just kind of give a special thanks to the community as a whole for just being awesome. Because when I first started running it, it was just me and maybe one other person every now and then, but it's turned into a wonderful fledgling community, and you guys are great. So shout outs to everybody, Praxco, if that's how that's pronounced, Seventh. Shout outs to Ananyai, shout outs to Utapon, shout outs to PD4FR. I love all you guys, and it's just really cool to finally get these
Shout out
games
to
seen on
Google.
something. It's a wonderful feeling. So thanks for having me. Hotfix is
Of course,
yeah.
thank you so much for joining.
Hotfix is always a fun time. I always enjoy anything I do for you guys. And
Oh, yeah.
this is definitely included in that, for sure.
I definitely appreciate you coming on and also helping me get everyone else to join in. I think that was really awesome that we were able to do an entire show themed around Doraemon. Chat, I hope you had a good time as well. We are not going anywhere because we're going to be right back with Express Lane coming up after the break. So get something to drink, stretch, again, stand up, walk around a little bit, come back, watch more speedruns. It'll be a great night. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.